Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back my good friend Jennifer Rubin, who you may all remember as Taryn in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. She's a good friend of mine and I'm having her back on the show today. It's been a long time coming. We're going to talk about some of her other movies I didn't get to touch on last time, and several other things. She's doing some crowdfunding to raise money for her special needs sister, and we're going to just talk about all that stuff today. I'm pretty excited. We haven't done an interview since the very beginning of this podcast, like within the first month or two, and it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, here is my new interview with Jennifer Rubin.
Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Jennifer.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good enough.
Did you have a good Halloween?
No, I've been on death's door for like a month now. I finally went to the doctor, and he gave me some penicillin, some amoxicillin or something. I work with kids in the water, and one day, like 35 of my little kids came in, and just every time they came out of the water, they just went poof in my face. Poof.
Ugh.
Those kids, they have, they're really young, like 5, 6, 7, years old and stuff. So they have that school, that in the school, see.
Yeah.
Oh, dirty, filthy little children. And so they gave me something in my lungs that, I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, this is really going to interrupt my pot smoking. And then I thought, oh, my God, I'm never going to smoke pot again. My lungs are so important,
Yeah.
So it's been real rough for me as far as breathing.
Oh.
So, terrible. Did you have a good one?
I had a great one.
You did?
Yep.
Where'd you go?
I stayed home, I watched movies and ate candy, and then at midnight my neighbor came by and we had sex.
Excellent! Perfection!
Yep.
Perfection! You could just work off all the candy calories.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good.
Are you going to be okay, though?
Yeah. The only bummer is that, I work Sundays and Mondays in the water, like for 8 hours in the water. And that's why I can't kick it, is because every time I get a little bit better, those 2 days, it's like playing, water polo for 8 hours. It's a really hard, physical, demanding job. And then I get, it seems like, okay, that first day didn't kill me, but the second day kills me, and then I'm back at square one. So that's the catch. But hopefully this erythromycin or whatever you gave me is gonna, fix it. But also too, there's some kind of, I don't know if you have it, but weird allergy.
Oh, yeah.
There's like the post-nasal drip is insane. I've never really, once I had an allergy to an avocado once, but it didn't last, and I've never been that person who's ever been, I'm so paranoid of getting sick, I refuse to get sick.
Yeah.
I'm dead, I don't know what the hell this thing is that it almost makes me believe in biological warfare.
Oh my God, crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. But I've heard, he put me on allergy medicine too. So,
wow.
And I took it yesterday, and I thought, okay, God, what is this going to be like? I had a meeting yesterday. And also, too, like, I've never been busier, right? So it's just like, the whole thing, you know, with that postnasal drip. I mean, I don't even understand it. I don't even think that there's anything in the air. I mean, wouldn't it be when things are blossoming or when they're cutting the grass? Or
Yeah, when fall hits.
yeah, or is this fall setting now and there's allergies? I've never heard of this thing.
Well, it is fall, but it's going into winter time now.
Yeah, like, I don't know what that's, I don't know what that's, I mean, I don't know what it's, I don't know, I mean, I look around my environment and everything exactly is the same. You know, I mean, I understand with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I literally saw like 35 of my kids come in with a cough. They just go, ah, ah.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was just like, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then you just go, okay, these kids have something at school and something like that. But I've been at this job for 5 years, so I know how to, when they come out of the water, to point them away from me. You know, when I first started, they would come right into my face and just whatever in my face. But then, you know, I've learned not to do it. So I was really surprised.
Oh, God, that's terrible, especially the way kids are nowadays.
What do you mean, like, that they're annoying? No, just kidding.
They just get more and more, you know, rebellious nowadays.
Oh, yeah, but mine are like from 6 months to like, maybe the oldest one I have is 12.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they're adorable at that age. You know, they don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have teenagers. I don't do, I work for an Olympian, and swimming Olympian. And so I'm not doing, I mean, I could, I do, but the older kids that I have for strokes, you know, for learning how to be an Olympian and a stroke person, they're really nice, you know, but then there's the next level of teen, and that's when they start looking at you like, you know, you're stupid all the time. Yeah, I don't have those kids. I was like, no, I'll just keep it right here and keep them adorable, you know, but they don't, I don't have the you know, 13-year-olds, too many of them, you know, to annoy me, yeah.
Well,
it's like the old lady talking about how old, you know, sick she is. Is that what the old people do? Oh, my back hurts and my knees hurt.
But you're not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm. Getting there, Tommy, get there.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So I wanted to ask you about some movies we didn't talk about last time.
Okay.
Starting with The Doors.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Doors. I loved working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to tell you about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, did you hear from Edie Sedgwick's family?
Well, you know what? I heard from Edie Sedgwick herself spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really kind of spiritual warrior type.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things, and I'm really into astrology, and I wasn't then, but, you know, little Edie is like a little bird, you know. And when the day when I got the role on, but I'll tell you, let me just start at the beginning.
Okay.
When Oliver Stone called up my manager, I don't know, my agent, and said, you know, can I come in and then read opposite Jim Morrison's? I might have read for The Doors, but then I got called in, and he wanted me to read, you know, about 5 or 6 Jim Morrisons opposite them as they auditioned.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that audition, the actors auditioned, then he asked me if I wanted to be the stewardess or if I wanted to be Edie Sedgwick. And of course, I'm no dummy, Edie Sedgwick. And then I ended up shooting for 2 weeks on it. But, you know, the movie was like 40 hours long. And I saw Oliver at a party, and I was like, you know, interviewer just did a big spread on me and, you know, leave me in the movie, for God's sake. So thank God we had that conversation, because I don't know. Well, I it probably would have been in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, because there's that part where I'm dancing across the screen. I love it that I'm by myself, but the bombs are dropping behind me. But that scene is a great, you know, the scene that I was in was the Andy Warhol party scene.
Right.
But he was doing an Orson Welles shot that was going on for like 2 or 3 minutes, which is with, you know, choreographed and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Oliver was an amazing person as far as, you know, I don't know how many people were on the set and how many extras were there on the set, hundreds. But, you know, he was attentive enough to tell me, you know, you're really give it your all on the first take, and then you kind of lose interest on the second take, and then you're really great again on the third take, and then you're okay on the fourth take. You know, I mean, he could really discern, you know, what I was doing, and I really liked that kind of, you know, in the chaos of it all or choreographed chaos of it all. I mean, he was very attentive and very nice to me. I ended up going out to dinner with him and his wife one day. I ended up seeing a lot of him, actually, in the end, and can't say enough about how sweet the guy is. I know some people say, oh, he's really difficult. But when I was reading those Jim Morrison, he kind of pretended to be reading the newspaper. There's no way he was reading the newspaper. And I thought, guys, don't be a pussy. He's not going to be, like, having $1 million, $1 million, bazillion-dollar movie and then, like, not be listening to your acting and stuff like that. He's not going to stare at you like you've never seen an actor do the scene before either, you know?
Yeah.
But he was really, you know, I think it was the way that he auditioned with Jim Morrison was incredible because, you know, they should be able to handle stress and they should be able to handle their own emotions, you know, when it does get stressful, because there's nothing worse than somebody who turns into jello when it starts to get stressful, you know. But when I finished auditioning the boys that day, when I came home, there was a little dead bird on my windowsill.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, Edie, she approved, you know. I did see that girl, was it her cousin or something, that Kira Sedgwick, who's married to Kevin Bacon. I saw her at the gym.
Kira Sedgwick.
I didn't say anything to her. But I have to tell you, that girl who played Edie Sedgwick, what's the girl's name? What's the girl who's, what's her name, that, beautiful. She used to date Jude Law. She's an incredible, well, anyway, she played Cedric, and I saw that movie. I went to see it specifically, and I was like, oh my God, that is the real Edie Sedgwick, and I could have never done what she did, and that girl was amazing in the part of Edie Sedgwick. So, but I was really glad to dance around and do it, and, you know, I was working on a movie with Robert Downey Jr. at the time, being directed by Robert Downey Sr., and with Eric Idle at the time, but he was horsing around with Valerie Golino at Chateau Marmont, and he slipped on the pool chair and cracked his back, and so the Downey movie got pushed and interrupted the shooting schedule, and then they both coincided. So I was supposed to be on both sets, at the same time. It was really a nightmare. I mean, started getting sued by the Downey group, and then but I would do one. I'd be on the Doors, and then I would go straight over to the Downey movie with no sleep, and then go back to the Doors, and then I fell asleep at my house. And then that's when all the lawyers came after me. And then I went to that, back to the Downey set. And then I went back to Oliver's set. And while he was setting up, I was sleeping on the couch. in front of like 400 people because I was like dead. And you know how you're like sleeping and you just feel like there's somebody standing next to my bed. The killer's next to my bed.
Yeah.
So I open my eyes really slowly, and it's Oliver, and he's like, she's getting sued and she's taking a nap. I like this girl. And they were really trying to pull me out of that one thing, but I couldn't. I did the wardrobe fitting for Oliver's movie, but I didn't do my hair and makeup thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came in with my wardrobe, I was like, what are we going to do with your hair? And I looked, and I saw that Kristen Glover had done his hair and makeup test. So he had 2 Andy Warhol wigs. And I was like, give me the Andy Warhol wig, and I'll wear that. And that's what's on top of my head. And I said, I promise I'll take care of it. So I put that on my head, and then, and that's how I was able to do kind of both pictures at the same time.
Wow.
It was pretty exciting stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, those days were great. And the parties in those days were the best parties in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the height of Hollywood, for a second there in the 90s?
Yeah.
Everything was so good. We hadn't heard the word budget yet. There was no budget. It was all Joe Silver doing crazy amounts of money and stuff like that, or everybody was. And there was an independent film market, and everything was exciting and wonderful, and parties at night, and then the word budget came, and it slowly disbanded,
Yeah.
And everything changed.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That girl was Sienna Miller.
Yeah, Sienna Miller. Oh my God, did she do a good job?
Mm-hmm.
Wowee. If you see Edie Sedgwick and you see, and I'm talking mostly the voice.
Mm-hmm.
The voice and the cadence of her speech was, I just thought, the most dreamy, wonderful thing I could ever see. Because I like Edie Sedgwick, but I almost like Edie Sedgwick more after I saw Sienna Miller do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was good. But it was fun, and the Interview magazine pictures were amazing, and it was nice to be in Interview magazine, of course.
Mm-hmm. And then you did Delusion.
Oh yeah, Delusion was the greatest.
Yeah.
Delusion was wonderful because they had that double page. You know how they have the double page spread with 1 million reviews on it, with all the stars. Like, Jennifer Rubin is amazing. Jennifer Rubin steals every scene, blah, 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 blah. And I have to find the LA Times thing, because I think, I don't have any pictures of myself up in my house.
Mm-hmm.
For prosperity's sake, I got to find the LA Times where Delusion came out. And I want to get that double page spread for my ego and just, if I'm ever having a bad day, just watch it. But that movie was, that was amazing. It was an amazing audition. I was auditioning, and I kind of felt like it was going south.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stopped the audition, and I started to do these boots were made for walking in front of the guy, and they got all red in the face. And then I got the job because it was like, in a weird way, as far as acting goes, it was just like one of those things where you save the scene,
Yeah.
So it was amazing, and I guess the competition was really stiff because some actresses came up to me like, I really wanted that film, and I never had seen our actresses act that way before, where they're like, yeah, I hate you now. Like, oh, okay, thanks, let me know. But then, that was an incredible film. It was in the end, it was a bittersweet film, but it was an amazing first film. It was the success of that started Cineville Film, which for the ball, came second with Gas Food and Lodging. And,
Mm-hmm.
Ione Skies up. They developed into it. This is again in the day when those independent film companies, you hit one little gem, and then you kind of skyrocket. For me, I skyrocketed too, but the double-page spread in the LA Times, you know, it was like you get where you get famous overnight. I mean, I was a model. I mean, I won International Model of the Year, and my first job was 50 pages of Italian Bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
But that nobody saw Italian Bazaar. But when the Delusion LA Times review came out, it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because like everybody wanted me.
Mm-hmm.
People, you know, would trap me in that casting room and say, you know, it's not me in this room until you say you're doing this film. And then, like, you know, Paramount would be like, you know, we're going to have you do, what do they want to do there? Like, you're the next Maureen O'Hara, and I was going to do movies with Gerard Depardieu.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do Columbus. And then, like, studio rivalries were having, they were both going to do Columbus, you know, folk movies.
Yeah.
And with me and I guess the new John Wayne or something, and Kurzweil Depardieu. But that frightened me because I remember opening my door and then slamming my door, and then kind of, you know, and what I mean is when I say I'm a spiritual warrior is I have like great psychic abilities, but they're not the kind of psychic abilities that you really want. You know, if you had a moon in Pisces, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, so you have like a wheel chart and there's every zodiac in it, and then if your moon is in Pisces, you're psychic. So where you have to look is where your sun is. If my sun was in Capricorn, which is the earth sign, it would be, I could see you're going to win an Academy Award, you're going to get married, you're going to have children. I could see like real, you know, present day things like, you know, hard, tangible things here.
Mm-hmm.
But my sun is in Aries, so if you're going to lie, cheat, steal, set on fire, I can hear you. I can even actually hear people who want to overeat, because I was sitting at a buffet, and I had eaten everything. I was full. And in my mind, I hear, I want a cheeseburger. I want a cheeseburger. I'm thinking, and I start talking to myself, like, how the fuck can you want a cheeseburger? you just ate every fucking thing in the house. And the guy next to me goes, can I get a cheeseburger? I was like, oh, you want a cheeseburger?
Oh my God.
You know, it's just like, oh my God. You know, so that's why I always like, you always see me trying to be by myself, or it's very hard for me in crowds, is because, but now that I'm older, I've learned how to deal with this gift. Sometimes I can shut it off. But it would be that I could hear other people louder than I could hear my own inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm older and wiser, it's not really that big of an issue. But I keep myself on the down low most of the time because, you know, who wants to hear lie, cheating, stealing, thieving, you know? And as far as being my boyfriend, if you're going to cheat on me, honey, I'm going to know you're going to do it the day before. So you're not going to be wanting to be my boyfriend unless it's going to be really on the level.
Yeah.
So, as they have all experienced in the past. But it's, you know, it's, that was delusion for me.
Wow.
I didn't really, yeah. In the end, I don't know, yeah. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, my ex was a big fan of that movie, and she was mad that I didn't bring it up last time I talked to you, but it's okay now because we're not together no more.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's funny. But I love that. I mean, I love the story and stuff, but I love the acting, I love the experience, I love the camaraderie with Kyle Secor, who went on to do a TV show. It seems like everybody went on to do something else, and then all those Columbus movies at the studios fell apart. But, you know, at the time, back in the 90s, you know, you didn't shoot to do television, you know.
Yeah. And then Saints and Sinners.
Saints and Sinners, that was Paul Moni's director project.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting guy. Good guy as far as like a director goes.
Mm-hmm.
The great Scott Plank was in that, and Damien Chapa. Damien Chapa was he's a really interesting actor. You know, I think he came out from the East Coast, and you know, was one of these kind of, you know, how they, you know, like John Cougar Mellencamp, and then he was John Mellencamp. You know, he was John Cougar and John Cougar Mellencamp. He was one of these actors where they were kind of doing the old studio system with him. And Scott Plank was a great actor, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and again, you know, spiritually. I mean, because I kind of always relate to people spiritually, but you know, Scott Plank is somebody who couldn't get famous fast enough. And, you know, sometimes you do hear about, God, they just want to be famous. They want to be famous. And they get really kind of grumpy, or they get, you know, that it's not happening fast enough for them or whatever. But, you know, Scott Plank ended up dying, you know, right before Holes came out, which was his big break.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have not been self-destructive, he would have been alive to enjoy the success of Holes, because Holes was a great big success, and he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I adore that guy. He visits me in my dreams sometimes, and Damien Chapa is just, you know, he was the first kind of guy that I ever met who, you know, was really well-rounded. Like, he wanted to develop the script, and he wanted to, you know, find the financing. And you know, this was not something I knew how to do or had any interest in doing, or even, you know, to me it was all, you know, they just call you up and then you say, yes, I'll do the job or whatever. But he was a real developing kind of actor guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does make his own films in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Paul Moniz, that guy's like nowhere to be found now.
Well, all my friends have saved that movie because you know, usually when you have a guy with two girls having sex, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that movie is me with two guys, you know, and it starts on the couch, we start making out, and we're fully dressed and all that kind of stuff, but my friend was like, oh my God, you were with two guys, and they just like all so freaked out about it, like, I don't know how guys are okay with like having two girls, but when the girl has like two guys, they're like, oh, hey man, oh. I was like, dude, like, we're totally dressed, and it only insinuates we're doing something like that. Like, sometimes I can't believe with some of my sex scenes, which I always have my underpants on, and it's always acting, and there's always like, I don't know, it's just like, but that blew some of my friends' minds, and they keep that video because they're like, wow, you did that scene with two guys. I was like, yeah, but the don't cut before you even before your shirt comes off. But with, you know, one guy is sitting at my feet, and one guy is sitting by my head, and I start kissing the one Damien, and I think Scott Plank starts, you know, like massaging my feet or something, and then it's like ooh ah, and then cut. But I don't know. I hear funny things from guys like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. And then Stranger by Night.
Oh, with the great Stephen Bauer.
Yes, I used to have this movie on VHS for years. I love this movie.
Yeah. I think it's always amusing when I'm the doctor or somebody with a college.
Yeah.
College, you know. Hi, I'm your doctor. It's like, well, can you say it without a funny voice? Just, the great Stephen Bauer. What a sweet dude.
Yeah, he was a guy who was like destined for stardom, and for whatever reason, he didn't. His stardom came and went quickly because he did Scarface, and then he did a movie called Thief of Hearts, and then that was it.
Who else was in Thief of Heart?
I have to look that up.
Uh-huh.
I know Jerry Bruckheimer produced it.
Ah, yeah, I think I read for that.
Yeah, that was in '84.
Yeah, well, the 80s, I mean, Medway, he's still around. I mean, he still works. And, that's again that 80s,
Mm-hmm.
independent film.
Barbara Williams.
Go ahead.
Barbara Williams was in it.
Oh.
She was a Canadian actress. But yeah, go ahead.
Maybe they shot it in Canada where you have to have the second lead be Canadian.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Vision. But I remember that director. It was really cool. I mean, and you know what? Big stars like him at the time, they get somebody like him to do, an independent film. And I have to tell you, I don't think the writing was that great in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. It was more, I think it was more like, it was almost like a free-for-all, like anybody could get going in the 80s.
Yeah.
Early 90s. And when they were changing from film into video, and I mean, that whole shift was didn't necessarily, I mean, I think that if we brought all that, you looked at all that film from the 80s and the 90s, and some of the 90s there, that would be a most amazing, what do they call, catalog, film catalog. Because all those films that kind of went straight to video would be really interesting to watch today. Maybe they would stand up on their own, but there was just so many flooding the market. But, the 80s and 90s are actually a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I just love that movie. Like, I rented it at my local video store, like back in the mid 2000s, and I ended up buying it. I interviewed Michelle Green, who plays Stephen Bauer's neighbor in the movie and stuff. She said she didn't remember too much from the movie, but she said she had fun from what she did remember.
I have a bad hairdo in that one. I think I was plucking my eyebrows. My dad told me, he goes, "Don't pluck your eyebrows. They're your signature."
Mm-hmm.
So I never did, except that I guess in the 90s, thin eyebrows were in. I think Drew Barrymore was maybe thin eyebrows, like Clara Bow eyebrows. And I had some. Well, we all had some fashion faux pas in the 80s and the 90s. Some of mine were just on film, not in real life, but yeah, I got my eyebrows put back.
What about Screamers?
Yep, Screamers was great. Screamers is a director, Christian Duguay. He is a Steadicam operator turned director, Canadian, has his wife in the movie, which is awesome. I love family atmospheres. And there was a lot of holes in the script, and Christian and Peter Weller would write that script in the night and give us, I'm friends with Andy Lauer, our pages in the morning. And I'm not that really, I need to spend time with the material. So I'd say, just tell me how to say it. And then, mostly them telling me how to say it. But they were writing it at night. And, I know Peter got $1 million for it, but I was his lunch money. So it's okay that he told me how to say it. But he deserved every penny he got paid. I mean, they really didn't have a script going into it. And we had a really nice, it was really cold filming it. I think our kiss on the tundra there, where it got best kiss, or Peter we got best kiss or something. And I don't know if it was MTV. And then Andy Lauer was in it, and Roy Dupuis was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a great entrance coming down that staircase, like Betty Davis.
Yeah.
Coming down, like, the big staircase was awesome, and, and I like shooting in that city. That city has, what is it called, isolation tanks, where you go lay in the salt water and you float.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to just, like, after work, go float in the tank, and then all the muscles, because you're so cold.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so tight. I'd go into these isolation tanks, and then your whole body would relax. And then I would go to work. And it was so funny. In the hand, when Peter comes up to my lair, and I put my hand in the water and stuff like that, and I change my clothes.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We were shooting that, and it was freezing, like this frost coming out of your mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
During the scene, I put the shirt on backwards, so the muscle, like the white beater kind of shirt, so it completely made my boobs stick out of the shirt. And it was the first time I realized that I was surrounded by men in the crew, because everybody started laughing, because it was like, oh my God, it was ridiculous. It was so funny. I couldn't believe that I got it wrong because it was so cold, but we all laughed at a good moment there.
Oh my God.
So there's a big difference from modeling. In modeling, you could take your shirt off, nobody really says anything, and you have to change your clothes, in the back of a car, on an iceberg, or, in the desert. You're changing your clothes, and nobody really says anything. But I think when you take your top off in a movie, it's like all of a sudden it has proportions that you can't really fathom. All of a sudden it's tantalizing. But that was one thing I never really understood as far as what's freaking different, And I guess there is a difference. I guess if you're talking and moving, and if they see a little, nippage or something, then, ooh-wee, But in modeling, it was no big deal. Because I know some girls that don't model, and they just go straight into acting. They're like, I'm never taking my top off.
Yeah.
These days, I don't think it probably matters to anybody at all, but back in the day, it was a big deal, and I never really understood it,
Yeah. And Dan O'Banion wrote the movie, too. Did you ever do conventions with him?
Who?
Dan O'Banion.
Who's Daniel Banyan?
He wrote Alien, Life Force, Blue Thunder. He directed Return of the Living Dead.
No.
Okay.
I only met a few writers at conventions, and they were in the weirdest places. Like Kentucky seemed to be, there was a lot of writers and authors there. And I haven't met very many writers. Not even on Nightmare on Elm Street, I know I never have met Frank Darabont.
Huh.
Yeah. But they don't really do that with writers. I'm a writer now. And I was watching some talk shows last night, because I love that Norm Macdonald. I get to sit there and watch Norm Macdonald videos all day. He's funny, right?
I love him. Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, he is the best. And but they don't bring out the writer. They bring out, they're pretty tucked away.
Yeah, I thought he was unfairly treated when he made those jokes about the Me Too movement and everything.
Well, spiritually, we have Jupiter and Scorpio, and that's a regime change. You know, so they're looking for any excuse to rip the people in power out and replace them with a new regime.
Yeah.
It's only a regime change. They aren't really going to change anything. But, you know, it's, you know, I mean, thank God I'm in, you know, at home and out of the spotlight, you know, while this is happening. But when Jupiter leaves Scorpio, will be, it'll end.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they are doing it to the men. But, you know, it's kind of reminded me of, like, the witch trials, where they used to burn women all the time.
Yeah.
As being witches. It's almost like watching them do it to the men. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the witch, burn the witch, and he's a man, and they're doing it. But, but also, too, you know, the way that women have been treated, you know, especially in the 70s,
mm-hmm.
you know, or coming out of the Vietnam War and then into the 70s and stuff like that. I mean,
women's lib.
Everybody used to, you know, knock women. It is really, I don't really think it's a race war anymore. I think it is a gender thing, and it probably always has been a gender thing. But they like to distract it by making it like ethnic, but it's not. It is really men and women.
Mm-hmm.
But it's men's turn now to get in trouble. Sure is.
Mm-hmm. I'm pro woman, and I support them, and I think they do a lot of things better than men. I'll tell you.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote an astrological script. I like to write for men. I write very well for men.
Mm-hmm.
I write good men. I mean, men would like being one of my men in my stories, but yeah, I don't. It's so funny because women need to have strong men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, women, you know, to feel secure, but I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. Really crazy time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where it's going to head us to, you know, especially when the votes come in pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And it's so funny because, the astrology is in the strongest part of Leo, which is ego and regal and in their place of power. And then it's going to completely shift into Cancer, and it's going to be all about the family. So whatever is going to be good for the family is going to be the focus next. And we're going to have a real shift of energy on the 7th, the day after the election.
Mm-hmm.
And people should be really, what is it called? Like, it's not like passionate. Passionate's like, you can go to the wrong distance with passion, but emotional. People will become very emotional
Mm-hmm.
for the next year and a half about what they perceive.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell?
Do astrology at all?
I'm very interested in signs and in people's signs and stuff. I study behavior, based on what the characteristics of people's signs are and stuff. Like, I'm a Gemini, and there's a misconception that all Geminis are two-faced people. I'm not. I tell it to a person's face whether I like them or don't like them. I'm like a very unique Gemini.
Well, Gemini means, it is I have a Gemini in the 12th house, and we all have Gemini somewhere, but Gemini is, well, one, they don't really like emotions. They just like to stay above the emotion. Like, they can look down on the emotion and stuff, but they don't want to get all emotional and in that kind of stuff. What Geminis are like, they are like pamphlets. They like a lot of data about everything. They're into data. They like They like it. It's like they know it's one of the. I don't want to say a jack of all trades, but they like to. Most Geminis know a little bit about everything, and they have great senses of humor where they don't. We're somebody who's in like a water sign, who's in the emotions of it. They're like, get me out of here, because I can have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. That's mostly what Gemini is about. Geminis are about ideas, and it's an air sign. So they like to keep it light, keep it up, right up in this area. Where the other signs are like down,
Yeah.
I have a lot of water, but I don't like to go into deep, 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 dark water like Scorpio. But I have Cancer and I have Pisces. And so if it was a swimming pool, I wouldn't want to be in the deep end. I want to be by the stairs or in that first half of the water. But my sister's a Scorpio, and, she'll tell me stuff. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So we all have our place in life, but see I have Gemini in the 12th house, which is where your hidden talents are. So my hidden talents, this whole time that everybody has been focusing on my looks, that whole talent was writing.
Yeah.
So now this is what I do kind of full time, and now that that the looks aren't really in the way anymore, I'm happier.
Yeah. It's funny. I was supposed to be born in the middle of May and be a Taurus, but I was 2 weeks overdue, and I still feel like I'm more of a Taurus than a Gemini because I'm so stubborn. I like to do things my way, and it's stuff like that. That's where my uncharacteristically Gemini comes in. I feel.
That's funny. Yeah. Taurus is, but you should be really glad that you have just the essence of Taurus. But, when you have a stubborn Taurus, but with Gemini, it'll allow you to flip the script anytime you need to. Like if it starts to become one way, your mind is going to find a way out, and you're going to be able to survive like pretty quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then where a Taurus would get stuck. So,
Yeah. What color are your nails?
Right now? Nothing. I had glitter on them last night. Really pretty glitter. I mean, like heavy glitter, not just, it had white and gold specks in it. But I just took it off last night because I'm going to go to the spa today and see if I can sweat out this stuff before I have to go to work on Sunday.
Yeah, I took mine off too. I had black and orange for Halloween.
You always have nail polish on.
Yes, I do. Since I was 13.
Is that your thing?
Yep.
I think it's so funny to have when boys have nail polish on. It's something that came out maybe in the 90s or the 2000s where, I don't know if I just come from a conservative background, but I had never even heard of men putting nail polish on when I was a kid. And now it's like, it's a thing. I saw a guy yesterday with some black nail polish on. And I was like, is that nail polish or did he do it with a Sharpie? I was on the subway, I didn't know where. I didn't know.
Sharpie.
I was just looking around. What's your favorite nail polish? Do you go for the gel, or are you into Essie, or do you shop for nail polish?
I do. I love OPI, and I love purple.
That's so funny.
I had a teacher. I had a teacher in high school. She got me into OPI, and used to go to her house, and we'd do each other's nails and stuff.
Oh, my Lord. Where did you grow up?
San Mateo, California.
Well, I believe it. Kansas, Arizona, so we always say, California, fruits and nuts. then I ended up living here, so I'll go cook. But I could see California being a place of nail polish for men.
Yeah.
That is hysterical.
I went to
my God.
I went to the same high school as Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Let me ask you something. Do you get your nails done at a salon, or do you just do them yourself?
I did go to a salon for a while, but then it just got too expensive, so I just do it myself.
Isn't that crazy how expensive it can be?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm not really into people, like, have somebody else do it for you. Like a lot of the mind culture is like, have them do it for you. Have somebody cook your food, have somebody do your nails, have somebody rub your back, go to the doctor, have him tell you what to do with your body. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, nope. I'll tell you about my own body. I'll do my own nails. I mean, I would do my own hair. But I like to do. I think there's something really intimate about doing your own nails and always being able to touch your feet, and your play with your hands and your feet. I think, babies do it in the beginning, and I think it's something that you should do all your life is play with your feet, own feet, and play with your hands. I don't like, after a while when I was in New York City, I stopped going, like, I don't want anybody touching me, and I stopped doing a manicure.
Mm-hmm.
It just creeps me out after a while.
Yeah. Some people are like that.
Hey, let me ask you about Jennifer Rubin. I took the train, the Metro link down to her house.
Yeah.
We had a day. I was sicker than a dog, but I went. It was like I got up to go because I was like, I'm going to have a vacation and I'm going to do it with Jennifer Rubin and adore her. And how did she post a picture of us?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was fast. It was like, I know you know her.
Yeah, she posts pictures every day on Facebook.
She does. Is it difficult to have a podcast, or is it? How does that work?
Well, to everybody, it's different. I mean, for me personally, I just use my camera phone to record. But a lot of people, they have studios that they do, or they use some kind of recording equipment. Everyone's different.
Uh-huh.
And they put the.
Do you post it on? Where do you post it?
Well, I upload it to YouTube, and then it's there for people to see. But I also share it on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but yeah, I
need to find like some young kids. See, what I did is I thought that it would be better if fans could, especially the ones that I meet. Like, I have 5,000 friends, right, at that capacity.
Yeah.
And I went to go and eliminate so I could put more people on.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through all 5,000 and I knew exactly who they were.
Wow.
I can't eliminate anybody. I remember all these people. And then, so I tried to do because I would rather them just talk to me and then I could respond, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I don't know if I would post that much if I had a fan page and then they all say whatever they want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know if I have the personality for that, but I went to do a second Facebook page and then I realized, there's none of the pictures that the other people have. And then, so I didn't really know how to, and then because now all I have is I have 3,000 people who are waiting for me to respond. And I'm like, well, how do I take all those people from the Jennifer Rubin 1 and ask them to go to Jennifer number 2? And then there's nothing on that page. I don't really even know how to really get that thing really going. I don't know if kids know how to do it or who knows how to do it. But,
well, what you do is you create the fan page, right? And then you go on your Facebook page and you write, hey, my capacity on this page is full. if you know anybody who wants to be up to date with my work and stuff, go like my fan page.
I'll go like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
It seems like it's gonna. I know it seems like it would be pretty easy, but it seems like I'll be sitting there for hours and I'll be frustrated, and I'm just so not willing to be frustrated. I don't know what I'm clicking on half the time,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know how the first page worked. But I do have I did a GoFundMe page for my sister with multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
I thank everybody who donated to that very much. I do. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think next year I'll end up spending more time doing some charity work for multiple sclerosis.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to finish writing this. I'm writing my third screenplay now, and I have to tell you something. It was pretty cool that my mom has been sick my whole life.
Yeah.
And my sister with multiple sclerosis has been sick, and so it really affected my. When people think, "Oh, I'm a badass," or I'm, I don't know. I don't think they call me stuck up, but she's, moody. I would say you could say I'm moody, and that would be fair.
Mm-hmm.
This is why. Because it's so daunting when I go home. It's like I never can go home because
Mm-hmm.
there's no rest for me there. And I have my own home now, whatever. But it was always something really psychologically, draining on me. I had a certain amount of survivor guilt.
Yeah.
I wasn't sick, and I was even celebrated for my health.
Yeah.
And then, so my sister and I didn't know what to do, and I did this. I did the GoFundMe, and then it really pushed the financial burden that was really always on me. Like I always felt, I can't make enough money. I never can do enough. It's too expensive. And then, but I made the GoFundMe page, and it pushed it aside, and it gave my sister and I just this wonderful opportunity to just be sisters, just on a real balanced, fair playing field.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't feel like a financial burden, and then I didn't feel like guilty that I didn't ever, because I chose acting. That's not necessarily a great financial thing. If you're a theater kind of actor, I think I have the kind of career that you can have when you don't sleep with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into the Illuminati and being owned and doing what your agent says, well, I think there's a whole echelon that I'm not a follower, so you're not going to get me to be, being a follower in any way. But and I do think they do have to follow rules and act a certain way, which I don't think would be conducive to my authenticity. But so that came, when I made the GoFundMe, it was, and it's called Multiple Sclerosis Complications, in case anybody wants to continue to donate. But she and I, had a real great. We've had since the GoFundMe, we've had a really great relationship that was just balanced. Mm-hmm. And so I do want to say, thank you to everybody who did help donate to that, or continue to donate to that. And then I forgot what I was saying. But now, and this is what I was saying. Pointed out was, so as that GoFundMe, got some steam on it and stuff, all of a sudden, I got $1 million idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, it's like sometimes when you have the burden, you can't, it's like you can't make good decisions when you're stressed, it's like that's not the time to be making a decision. And when some of the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Fred Heads made the commercial for me, and that financial burden got off my shoulders for a second. of these expensive, treatments that, my, my family needs. But all of a sudden, by just creating this island of relief for me for 10 seconds, I got a great idea, and I was glad to say it was a scary idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's my third movie now. Sorry, I'm just speaking now. It's weird. But it's gonna do it again. Right? No. Okay, that was done. So I'm gonna quickly. I'm already 20 pages in. I'm gonna finish this screenplay, and hopefully, that would be the whole, completion of, oh my God, I can make money, like, not just like a theater actor. I make money like a theater actor does,
Yeah.
But not, but if to write something and then have it be a scary movie that would be good, and then you could have, that residual income, and then that could all go over to multiple sclerosis,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy. I couldn't believe it, and I started writing it on page 20. I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't even know where it's going,
Mm-hmm.
But it was a really good idea, and I really thank kind of horror community for giving me just a moment to relax where I could have a good financial idea come through, and it came through like spiritually, like it just came through. The block was removed, and all of a sudden it was like, bingo. And I have to say, it's as scary as a Freddy. It would be, it's not a female. Well, it is a female, but it would be it could be as an iconic, scary woman.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be some financial prosperity. I mean, I've never, I'm a spiritual warrior. I am not motivated by money. Nobody has ever given me money, to do anything I don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
But I was really pleased. I was like, oh my God, I could see how this would be great. I mean, and I have my own money, we all have our own money. We all have $10,000 $10,000 $10,000 would solve a lot of our problems, immediately. But it's like it's a long, multiple sclerosis is a long-term financial, and the insurance companies don't really, provide everything, people need,
Yeah, it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's crazy, My mom's blind, and she's going to have an eye removed, and she's going through and trying to find,
Glaucoma.
No, I mean, she's been blind. I mean, she has that too. But, but I mean, finding insurance that's gonna provide the doctor that's gonna be able to take her eye out is, which, she has to have somebody read her all that information and then try to find, the insurance that, will be able to take it out. You know what I mean? Like, which one of those just, average Joe policies is going to be the one that's going to, and you have to predict all this stuff in the future. I don't really know how people really, this is why I'm always paranoid about my health. I'm going to knock on wood. Because it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Do you consider yourself a hypochondriac?
No, I'm not a hypochondriac, but if one thing goes wrong in my body, I just immediately lay down and go to sleep, because I'm like, you're not, some people go, I'm sick, I'm going to still go, I'm still going to carry these ton of logs. And it's just like, oh, my back hurts, I'm still going to fix my car. It's like, I'm not that person. If I get anything, I go to sleep, and I let my body heal, like, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it is. I don't, when I got this thing that I have in my chest now, I've been in bed for 2 weeks. I laid there. I wasn't even on the phone because you get this extreme tickle in your throat, and then it starts this coughing fit that goes on for literally 10 minutes. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is, my lungs are important. But it was, I laid there for 2 weeks. I couldn't believe that laying in my bed for 2 weeks, that my immune system wouldn't kick it. And then when I went on Halloween to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
he says, how long have you had it? I said, 3 weeks. And he goes, well, I'm not going. He goes, you don't have anything. I said, I've walked here. I walked 4.5 miles to get here. I've hacked the whole way here. So you're not going to hear anything in my lungs because I still try to move. And but he said, he goes, well, you've had it so long, I'm going to give you this erythromycin. But it was but I had to kind of get a little dude, you're going to give me something because I got to get back in the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to go right back, right back to the beginning. But no, I'll lay down. I mean, I think sleep should be able to get your immune system, all your cells regenerate, and you should be able to. Everything should be cured by sleep. Go to sleep, wake up healthy. That's that's my thing. But and you have to have mental, a strong mental mind. My mind is strong.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm not a germaphobe or anything like that. I'm just, if my body says something, and it's aging now too, so,
Mm-hmm.
if my, because I walk a lot, then I just started getting more leather shoes instead of cloth shoes, so I would get a nice ankle support.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't keep walking if my ankles hurt. People do.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But I also too didn't run. That's knee problems. People have knee and hip problems from jogging. I never did that. I just thought I never understood jogging.
Yeah.
But and I don't hike uphill. I like it straight and flat. Just I'll always be able to do it in my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just try to keep it really simple, and then I have good health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that what you do?
I used to before I had my car accident and I got this metal rod in my leg. I can't do any kind of running anymore.
Yeah, and also too accidents. So if you get something from an accident, then you gotta behave in in an appropriate way, because that But that's I'm knock on wood again. I haven't had an accident or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I've gained so much weight in the last 2 years. I'm trying to get it off me. Just dieting has been difficult for me because they said I was going to be depressed after I recovered from the accident, and they were right. I have been, but I'm so blessed because I have this podcast, and I've interviewed so many people now that I admire and love, and just I'm not depressed at all about that. I'm just depressed from what happened 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, what I found that really works with depression.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was always depressed because of my the health issues in my family. I mean, it just yeah, it was a mental burden and a physical burden, and also too they can't participate in my life at all. So it was depressing, but air. Air is the trick because if you get enough air, and I don't know if you can have one of those mini trampolines.
Huh.
And you don't jump on it like up and down, but you just bounce and like say you do like kind of a jumping jack.
Mm-hmm.
So, like a light arm movement up and down, not stressful because I think old people can do it. And I don't know about the Rodney, I'm not a doctor, but the thing is if you just do like a bouncing, that getting air is it's something about air that helps with depression.
Huh. You mean
Isn't
like...
that amazing? Because don't you want to lay down when you're depressed, right?
Right.
And so you're doing shallow breathing, like But if you do you'll find like, oh my God, I got enough oxygen in my brain that you'll get one of those like $1 million ideas like I got,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll think something funny. It's the key is air. I think the key is air. Getting air. And not sitting air, but just like deeper breathing. Somehow you have to find a way to do deeper breathing,
You mean that...
not being physically, stretching out that leg.
You mean natural air, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I mean, like, when I got my mini trampoline, because I'm, how old am I now? 56. I like Jack LaLanne was always on our television,
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, I do, jumping jacks, all my life, whatever." And so I don't really bounce because I tend to be my muscles tend to be stiff.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, I'm not flexible girl at all.
Yeah.
And so I just do a little boing, boing, just like from my toes.
Mm-hmm.
I think my heel even stays on the trampoline, so it's not a great bounce. But I'll stand on my trampoline and do like those airplane arms, and when I'm watching a movie. So because I said to myself, if I watch a movie, I'm only going to do it standing up on my trampoline. Because I am very anti sitting down. I lay down or I stand up, but I hate sitting. I hate it. And so I started a couple of years ago. I started standing on my trampoline and just going boing, boing, boing when I'm watching a movie. Of course, some movies are really engrossing, and you space out a lot. You're not really moving that much, but because you get, there's this type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that there is, but that was one thing that really, really helped me kind of realize, that's how I realized I was depressed, is when I realized I was breathing deeper.
Mm-hmm.
That helped.
Yeah.
That and spit will get your shoes shine.
I interviewed this woman several months ago. She has this device that she sells. You know what a shake weight is, of course.
Yeah.
Well, this thing, it's like a shake weight, but it's this little rod. You stick it in your belly button, and you pump and you do this pumping motion. It's like a shake weight for your belly button, and it pumps out all the stress and tension throughout your body. You have to do it for a while, and
I love it.
she said it's very effective. And when I get some money, I want to get one, but it's not cheap.
What's it called?
I have to look it up. I have to look it up right now on her page. But yeah, I definitely want to get one of those when I have some money.
Yeah, let me know what it is. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean.
You know what I like too that you might like? It's pretty interesting. It's that let me see. Let me look at it. The name of the thing. My mother did it of all people. I was like, Mom, you can't do it. You're blind. You'll fall off it. But it's called you can get get it at the, you can get it at Rite Aid. It's called Simply Fit Board. It's this board. It looks like a snowboard, but it's dipped in the middle. You can almost it looks like a platter for vegetables. But you put your feet on it, and then you put your arms straight out, shoulder at shoulder length, and then the board, excuse me, the board, you spin, you twist at the waist.
Yeah.
And that thing's like $24. But that thing is amazing. I love it. That might too work for you because your legs stay straight, or you bend your knees a little, and it's in alignment over your toes. And then you put your arms out. It's that Rite Aid, it's that Walgreens, it's just a board that's, probably you're a tall man, from the little probably goes up to your knee. And they come in these, funny colors. But the Simply Fit board, where you twist, will get you air as well, without any bouncing and putting any stress on that rod.
Yeah, it's called the belly button healing tool.
Oh my God, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
But because I do, when you're kind of depressed, you do hold stress in your belly.
Yeah.
The belly button what?
The belly button healing tool.
Healing tool. How much is it?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but
Okay.
But I was looking on her page. Yeah, it's called the belly button healing tool. And yeah, I mean, it's like a shake weight, but for your belly button. And I definitely want to get that and stuff. I just hope it fits because I have a bit of an Audi.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, I love being funny and telling jokes.
Yeah, you said Jennifer Rubin. You have her cracking up all the time.
Oh God! Oh my God! She is a good audience. She's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, she does. She's an amazing girl. She really is.
I remember the first time I interviewed her. She did the slasher movie with Harry Reams, the porno star. And I asked her what it was like working with him because she didn't even know he was a porno star. And she said, "Oh, he was a great guy, really professional." And I was like, "How did you find out that he was in porn? Did he take it out for everybody?" She laughed so hard at that. That was like the first big laugh I got from her.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. But I'm glad the crowdfunding for your sister is going well.
Yeah, can use some support though. I mean, she's going in to get a treatment in like the month of November. Pretty gruesome thing, and should help, for a while.
That means it could be a happy Thanksgiving. It could be a sad Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, all pretty gruesome stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seriously hope she makes it through.
Yeah, it's just, keeping it, I don't even want to think about it, but it's been a while. We've had it for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the new year comes around, my mom she's supposedly supposed to get hip surgery, and we'll see if that happens or not and stuff. She keeps going back to the doctors for her hips. They were fractured about 6 years ago. She had a domestic quarrel with her ex.
Oh.
It didn't
Yeah,
end
falling
good.
as an act, it's just like you can fall and you can really hurt yourself, and um, no fun at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer, I'm glad we could finally do this again.
Yeah, thanks for being patient. It's been a rough year. So.
It's been a rough year for me too, and it's ending on a good note finally.
Yeah, we made it through. Yeah. Best of luck to both of us and everybody out there. Um, yeah, and 2019, to health and happiness, right?
Absolutely. 2019
Yeah.
is going to be a good year, especially for me. I feel that's going to be a great year.
Yeah. I feel like at least everything that needs to have attention. I've paid attention to all the weak spots. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into 2019, strong, and I do have some money making ideas, and I'd love to give back as well, and but I do certainly appreciate the relief that I did get from the horror community with the GoFundMe. And again, I'll just say, in case you're closing, it's called multiple sclerosis complications. It's not going to have any obvious Nightmare on Elm Street stuff, but there is perks, and there's stuff for donations, and there's things to buy in case there's any horror collectors out there. There's some big ticket items and small ticket items, and um, I appreciate anything anybody can give. It'd be great.
Absolutely. Well, Jennifer, you have happy holidays, and I will talk to you again soon.
Okay, Tommy, I'll see you around.
Absolutely.
Okay, take it easy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Jennifer Rubin. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Jennifer. You're just an amazing, inspiring woman. I wish your sister the best, all the best, and that she has a speedy recovery in time for Thanksgiving. And you will continue going out there and fighting every time, because we all love you, Jennifer. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.